Welcome to chapter 6. Last time you tuned in, I shared a story I didn't share in the book about the time my husband, younger son and I started out on a stroll and ended up on a serious 5-hour hike. It seems an appropriate lead in to chapter 6, which is called Finding Your Way Back Home. As Christians, we have both a person and a place to call home. We belong. I belong. You belong. And God wants us to know it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I don't mean know it intellectually, theologically. I also mean to know it experientially, the biblical understanding of knowing. Are you satisfied to just keep learning about God? I'm hoping not, which is probably what has led you to this book. There is often a huge gap between what we believe intellectually about God and say we know about him and how we experience him. Now, the birth of my oldest son was extremely traumatic, nothing like we planned, and left me unable to be upright for 9 weeks. I had been praying over my unborn baby and I had a birth plan that was like a fairy tale. Needless to say, our world was rocked and I was traumatised. And instead of the pleasure of bathing my newborn and then taking a lovely stroll in the park to show him off, I was horizontal on a bed, only able to have him lie next to me to be fed. I thought I trusted God. I knew from Bible verse I'd learned that he was trustworthy. But in the shock and the suffering, I found out my heart did not yet believe it. My head had no idea what was going on, and neither did my heart. The intellectual knowledge and Bible verses I'd learned about trusting God seemed to do me no good at all, because it had not been learned deeply by experience from the heart yet. I remember I couldn't pray or read my Bible because what I thought I knew was being so challenged and rocked. And one day as I lay there, I contemplated what living on my own without God would look like and what it would mean for bringing up my son that way. And I remember clearly what a terrifying thought that was. And I just knew I didn't want to live like that. So although my mind couldn't make sense of what happened and line it up with Bible verses I'd learned, I found my heart could simply say yes to God and receive his love. So I began to say a simple prayer over and over each day as I lay on my bed. I trust you, God. That was it, 4 words. But I found it was so profound and deep, and I feel it was like gold to God. I let go of needing to understand with my intellect and simply attach myself intimately to God. When the 9 weeks had passed and I was able to get back to some sort of more normal life, I remember the power and faith that I felt as I stood to lead worship and read a psalm about trusting God. I knew that I knew that I knew he was trustworthy. It wasn't just head knowledge anymore, but it was heart knowledge, experiential knowledge. And this contrast between left brain intellectual knowing and right brain relational knowing is absolutely key to intimacy with Abba. So drink it in chapter 6, and I will see you again in chapter 7.